Time's up, Admiral.
Here it comes.
Give me the meat, and give it to me raw.
What's the matter? Take yourself a great big bite of meat. Taste the pleasure of the highest quality pork around.
If somebody's gonna try to blackmail me with advertising, blackmail me with money, go f yourself. But go f yourself. Is that clear? I hope it is. Hey, Bob.
Little kid ears. When I first heard that, I heard not if you stick a lump of coal up his ass in 2 weeks, you have a diamond. When I heard as a kid, I sounded like in Twix, you'd have a diamond. Like, why are there chocolate bars up his ass? As a little kid, I didn't understand. Little kid ears hear things differently.
That's not even the funniest thing you just said.
What?
When you messed up, you said "cum in his ass," and then you started over.
I did?
Yes.
I'm colored. Shut up.
But we're told that we don't like any of this because we're misogynists. We just don't like this stuff because we're women. And the only reason we're unhappy about the Ray movie coming out, because, guys, did you hear the Ray movie was canceled and uncanceled? Did you hear that?
Dre, you heard that too, right?
I did hear it.
Wait,
I did hear it.
What did I do?
You said because we're women.
We hate it because we're women.
Okay. I said it. All right. Yeah, see, now Ariel just arrived, and she's going to make sure that I remember that.
Yes, we didn't want it to come out like this, but Adam is in fact trans. He's coming out of the closet. Him and Dermy are in a relationship. It's time.
It's still there.
I didn't say that.
Well, you can still have it, but still identify as a woman.
We want to enjoy what we're looking at. We don't want sores and fat whores. Liar! No.
Let me be as clear as I can. Ain't no colors in Scandinavia.
Game over, man. It's game over.
Hail and howdy, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Roundtable, where I've been up for an hour, so expect this much energy from me. Anyway, hi, everybody. How we doing? I hope you guys had a good weekend. We have an interesting show for you guys today, I think. It's some of the usual. We're going to rip on the Acolyte, but we're not going to rip on the episode itself because you've already seen that done for the past, 4 or 5 days already. No, we're going to talk about the continuing fallout on why it's a disaster. We're going to talk about the lengths to which the shills, the stands, are pretending it's a massive success, and at the same time, show you the audience that's left, and even just an example of this is who we're dealing with when it comes to fake fans. Then, just because I want Dre to cry a little bit, we're gonna go over those Superman set leaks that came out last week. Those costumes and the possible plot. It's a rumor, and I've already talked about it on the Mellow Mondays, but it is kind of relevant to bring it up because we have to keep an eye out with all these set pics being leaked. If certain actress shows up, it might lend credence to the possible plot. And also, I do want everybody's take on this possible rumored plot. And then to close it off, we should have time. I want to talk about some reporting that's been done concerning Square-Enix, Dragon Quest 2D HD release coming out, and a certain story regarding character creation and gender in it, and how I think it's a little disingenuous with the current reporting, the current takes that are being given, and at the same time, get everybody's. I want everybody's view on: am I the one who's out there, or should we be more level-headed and look at the whole picture? Because that's what I like to pride us on this show, that we take a very level-headed approach and we don't overreact to certain stories, and we try to give you guys all the information, all the facts, all the logic. And especially also because Dre's been in these rooms. He knows how long these things go on when the games are being made to try and confirm my thoughts on projects. So we got that. So that's the show, and I hope you guys enjoy it. Hi, Jed. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing great. Had a very exciting week. I actually went to NASA yesterday with some NASA employees, got to hang out there and found out some really cool stuff. But I did want to share a little piece of information about it. I talked to Adam about this last night. But for those of you who don't know, the new NASA project to go back to the moon is called Artemis. And when I heard about this, I was excited because Artemis is how it should have always been. Apollo never made sense to me because Artemis was the goddess of the moon. Apollo was the god of the sun. So Artemis always made more sense. And so I was on board with that. But when we went to NASA, there was a whole video presentation about why they chose Artemis. And of course, they started it all out with it's a woman. We finally have a project named after a woman. Oh, this Artemis is going to have the first woman on the moon, the first person of color on the moon. And we chose Artemis A because she was a woman, and B because it's the twin sister of Apollo. So this is like the sequel to the Apollo missions. And they went on and on and on for several minutes about why they chose Artemis. Not once did they mention that she was the flipping goddess of the moon. The best reason that they had, they weren't even aware of. So yeah, just even DEI taking over our space program. You love to see it. But I'm happy to be here, ready to dive into all the nonsense of the week.
Exactly. Dre, you got your normal headgear back on.
Yes. A-Rap Dreezy.
Whoa. Hot mic.
Hot mic. Sorry about that. Hang on. Oh boy, sorry about that.
A little bit lower. There you go. Okay. All right, say something now. Okay, still fixing it. While he's doing that, Dragon Lady, hi. While Dre fixes his audio and doesn't murder us with our ears. How are you?
I'm doing all right. Bit of an eventful week with it being my birthday on Wednesday.
Happy birthday.
Yeah, thank you. And got the official House of the Dragon coloring in book. Nothing to do with the second season before anyone chimes in. Because yes, I saw the picture the day before my birthday and I was like, did my birthday just came a day earlier? Something daft.
Yeah. Well, so you haven't seen any of season 2 yet, have you then?
No, I haven't. We don't have HBO Max over here, so
okay. All right. Well, then if we do rant about it a little bit, I'll keep my spoilers to a minimum. Anyway, all right. So, Dre, are you? Can we hear your dulcet tones yet?
Or are you okay, is that better?
That's better.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's better.
Okay.
All right. So you're back. So your renaissance is over. You're back to normal. How are you?
Yes, I'm back. A-Rap Dreezy is now put to rest. Regular Dre is back in the house. So yeah, I've had a pretty solid week. Nothing too crazy. Outside of Mrs. Freeze coming to Suicide Squad.
That actually happened, huh?
Oh, that's happening.
Yeah.
That is happening.
God, that game, dude. That game.
So that's gonna be. I mean, nobody's buying that game anyway, but irregardless, But that's something. But it's been a good week. Nothing too crazy. I haven't watched any nonsense because I refuse to. So
I'm gonna solve that problem for you today.
No. Oh no. That's not what I want to hear.
I'm gonna make you listen to it anyway. I'm gonna make you listen to me complain about it. So, but anyway. Anyway, so yeah, I'm glad you're here. I'm glad everybody's here. Hail and howdy to the chat. People are still rolling in. It's Sunday. It's been a sort of a holiday week. Maybe people are tired. But you guys rolling in. Those who are here, hail and howdy. Glad to see you. Hail, Legatus, who isn't actually here. Legatus is taking the day off, it seems, but we're always happy to have Legatus who comes around. He'll watch it on the replay and find some way to troll me when he comes back. Hail, Hammy. How are you doing, good sir, young man? Hail to Ruben X. How are you doing? Hail, Grand Admiral Hawk Tua. That's still not getting old, is it? It's not getting old. Hail, Frank Blitzquitz. Hail, Mob 19001. Hey, Static. How you doing? And hail, anybody else just watching, not chatting, catching us on the replay. If you're coming in late, I hope you guys are having a good Sunday. Hit that like button. Subscribe to the channels below. And let's get underway because that's all we do for intros. Now, all right, I got this. This is just to warm us up to get us angry, or maybe get Jed angry. Right before we went live, I'm just scanning collecting stuff for the for the segments, and I saw this. Shurigawa charging at a Who convention 125 pounds for an autograph.
I just saw that.
And 20 pounds to talk to him, Jed. This has to be complete disconnection from reality.
I mean, yeah, I don't know how the exchange rate works in a place like this. Like, how would other doctors have charged in a situation like this in the past? I don't know exactly what is the norm in a situation like this. This is far beyond what any sane human being should pay to even speak with him. You'd have to pay me.
Here's an example.
To speak with him.
This is how much William Shatner charges roughly. He charges over $100 for his stuff. That's Bill Shatner. That's Captain Kirk. He's got 60 years of earning this shit. Shurigawa got nothing, and that's over $100 because that British pounds costs more than the dollar right now.
Mm-hmm.
That's how bad this is. That's not right.
I mean, he does have the ego of 30 people. Like, he's got one of the biggest egos of anyone I've ever come across. So it doesn't surprise me that he thinks he's on Bill Shatner's level. I doubt he even understands who William Shatner is. Like, if you asked him, hey, you know who Bill Shatner is? I doubt he would have any sort of idea or guess close. He'd probably say, is he one of the classic doctors? Because he's never seen the show. So yeah, he probably thinks he's a bigger deal than Shatner ever was. That would not surprise me whatsoever.
Yeah. So I just saw this and I thought this is ridiculous. And it's out of touch with reality that this guy thinks time with him at a convention is worth this much, that he's done something significant enough to demand it. Matt Smith can get this. David Tennant can get this because they've done something with Doctor Who. And Matt Smith has gone on to do stuff, and David Tennant has had a career around it. We may think he's a nutcase now, but David Tennant has had a career, and Matt Smith has done stuff. But
do you know David Tennant and his wife are taking credit for the Prime Minister not winning the re-election?
Yeah,
they're actively taking credit for it. Like, they used the Doctor Who quote, I guess he really was looking tired, reference to how he said Harry Jones was looking tired.
No.
That was Georgia Tennant's Instagram post.
I mean, my condolences, Dragon Lady. It's time for you to get a serving over there. I mean, of what's going on. Granted, it's not like your conservative party did anything legitimate. They fucked around and found out. But my apologies to what's coming your way now. That pound is soon going to be worth as much as the dollar. I'm sorry to say. It's not going to work. Yeah, so and David Tennant, he's nuts. He's nuts.
Absolutely nuts.
With stuff he's been saying lately. But yeah, so I just had to drop this nugget. I found it amusing before we get started on what we really will talk about here. And hail people coming in. Hail Last Tolan. Hail Dash. How are you guys doing? All right. We'll start with Acolyte because let's start with the most ludicrous shit first, and then the stuff that will either just go roll our eyes at, and then I will get passionate about the final segment. But we'll start with Acolyte. So Acolyte. I know I'm the only one who watched this. I'm not even going to ask if anybody watched it. I'm the only one who watched it here on the panel. Maybe some in the chat watched it to understand what I was ranting about my review. My review's still up. Go check it out. Episode 6, where if you haven't already heard about it, it's the Let's Get Randy episode. And by Randy, I mean Austin Powers' Let's Get Randy, not South Park Randy. Darth Zipperface decided to get naked and take a bath. And as many others pointed out, and I missed it in my review, I admit it, I missed it. At one point, he's standing before OSHA, fully frontal nude, and she takes a check out. The eyes do go down. So she was checking out his junk. I missed it. I apologize. I guess I'm not as focused on that as other people, but it is legitimate. It's a thing, but they turn the whole thing into a really weird seduction thing where, oh, look, he's seducing her. And it's had the effect, which we'll get to in a bit, where the stands are, they win for the thirst trap completely. Total thirst trap. They like it. They think Manny Jacinto is some sort of hot piece of meat that they get to lick up and down. Amanda Stenberg continues to have one expression on her face for both characters she's playing. The show continues to make zero sense with its characters. Characters' attitudes and stories and designs change on the drop of a dime. And then there's also the remaining fast travel. Just to lay it out for you, the entire section where you've got Darth Zipperface and OSHA on an unknown planet. They have to tell you unknown planet when they go there. Unknown planet. Everything's happening there. They make it clear it's been hours. Hours. I know, should be days because of hyperspace travel, but this is Disney Star Wars. Hours.
Hyperspace is instantaneous, isn't it?
Yeah, it's fast. Well, in Disney Star Wars, it's fast travel. It's a video game. You're there. You're there in a second. So they've been on that planet, we'll just say, for hours. Yet you go back to the other scenes, and it's literally minutes after the last episode ended. Minutes with the two people who are left alive on Kelnaka Spank Shack planet. So they are going to be in orbit for only minutes, and at the same time, people on Coruscant are literally going to arrive within the 20 or 30 minutes that the episode is apparently happening around Kelnaka Spank Shack planet. There's no concept of time when things are happening. And they even have the dumbest moment of when one ship is leaving the orbit of Spank Shack planet. The other ship literally comes into right exactly where they were. It goes boop and boop at the same time. They would have had a collision if one had still been there. But also, they make it a point to say outer rim. And Coruscant's deep mid-rim. That's days of travel. It's not instantly there. It is mid-rim. That's what it's called. There's the mid-rim, and that's the
but
deep
it's
mid-rim.
deep. It's deep
because it's on the border with the core. Come on, man. I'm trying here.
Come on, man.
Come on, man.
Come on, man. Don't be like that, man.
I'm trying, man. Listen, I just watched Beverly Hills Cop 2 last night, so I have Eddie Murphy in my head when I say shit like that. So you gotta understand, this is the nonsense going on. You have one point where that little Basil rodent alien humps Amanda Stenberg's main character leg to fight her. They have a scene where he confronts her. He's humping her leg and attacking her, and then runs away after he steps on her foot. She gets stunned and is out for hours, where in the last episode, she got stunned and got up at 30 seconds later. And the inconsistencies are wild. So you watch the show and you wonder what the hell's going on. They even end with, there's all kinds of shit within it where, hey, we're making the Force ambiguous. There's no light or dark side. It's literally say semantics when it comes to differentiating between light side, dark side. So they're trying to tell you there is no light or good. It's only your certain point of view.
Of course.
And then OSHA, who just watched everybody she supposedly cares about get murdered, we'll say a couple hours before, is already succumbing to the dark side instantly. Because she failed herself and failed the Jedi by not becoming a Jedi. So she needs to tap into her anger, her passions, her fears to go dark side, because according to Leslye Headland rules, if the Jedi rule of thought on the Force is if you stop using it, it goes away. That's what she thinks happens. And then she puts on Darth Zipperface helmet and breathes like Darth Vader at the end of the episode. That's the fastest rundown I can give you of what happened. Not to mention shit dialogue, shit acting, and terrible music and terrible production quality. So we got all that. Are we good? Do we understand what's going on here? We're all good. Okay.
As much as we can.
Much as you can. I do the best I can because I can't just do my whole review over again. We'll be here for half an hour, 40 minutes. Can't happen. So we've got that. So then the stands think this thing is glorious.
Yeah.
But it isn't. It isn't. The actual fact is it's falling apart. It is failing on a massive scale. Next week, we should have the Nielsen's for the premiere. Now, the premiere will be a skewed thing on the Nielsen's because it was a double episode, which is how they do that shit, so they can have it skewed. So we'll get more accurate, non-charting numbers probably the next time around when they drop the second, third episode block period of time. Or actually, no, wait a minute. If it goes from the 2nd to the 27th, we should get all the episodes, but it'll be skewed because that premiere. But we'll see how high it charts. We'll see how high it charts with its massive outing of only 2 million people watching per episode with that premiere, and probably steadily dropping. But right now, we do have this Star Wars Acolyte episode falls off top 10 charts from the what are these guys called? Know Its Own, marking the one we looked at these guys last time. They showed this one last time where it barely charted. It dropped 60% last week.
Jesus.
And now it's dropping more. Let's click on this so I can enlarge the picture for us on the X Twit. Here we go. So it's not even on. So last week it dropped from the mids to 9 last time, and now it's completely dropped off. It's gone from this particular from Luminate. There it is, Luminate. From Luminate, who people have acknowledged is getting some accurate readings on the minutes viewed. So we see this. Is there any reason to doubt this? Any at all?
Not from what I can see. And this is still still minutes watched. Okay, yeah. I don't see any reason why to question it. I have nothing to the contrary. Since Disney doesn't want to show their numbers, and Nielsen takes a good amount of time to get their numbers, I have no reason to question what's being presented in front of me.
Okay, and we have no Samba because
it didn't even chart on Samba.
Yeah, it didn't even chart on Samba.
Yeah. So these are the best numbers we have for right now, and they're relatively believable with the other things that are on here. Like the Bear, I've never seen it, but it's reportedly a massive success. So these are believable numbers to begin with. So at this point, it's the best we have. Yeah. And the boys is losing steam fast. The first couple episodes were like the highest rated shows that they've had, and now it's just dropping off. Can't believe My Lady Jane's on there. That
show is really falling off a cliff, and it legitimately makes me upset because I actually enjoyed the first 2 seasons of The Boys.
I never got into it. I was never.
The first season is legitimately incredible.
Yeah, the first season I think is really good, and I think the second season is pretty comparable. The third season got really weird for no reason.
It's all shock value, no story.
Yeah. All shock value, no sub. Oh, you couldn't have said it better myself.
It's Eric Kripke showing his freak.
That's exactly what it is. That's exactly what it is. And now it's even now the shock value is even being minimalized now, and it's just.
Didn't they have a scene where the new chick who they've got as a PO, where she squirts titty milk?
Yes,
into Homelander. He has a weird fetish with titty milk since the first season because he has mommy issues.
Yeah,
and so she's purposely gave herself breast milk apparently just to entice him and be loyal to him, do whatever he needs.
Yeah, but none of that. And once again, I saw somebody pointed out, which was actually quite interesting, that this entire season has shown nothing but gay sex, and they can't even show a woman's.
That seems to be a new rule. Even House of the Dragon's kind of having an issue with this, where you can show as much ass as you want. Ass is completely on the table,
and
full female,
frontal male nudity.
And full frontal male nudity. But tits are no longer allowed. I haven't seen any tits in House of the Dragon season 2.
I've seen some tits, but they've been ugly titties.
Okay, ugly titties or background titties, but like
background titties. No main character titty.
No, not in any real prominent show these days.
No.
Yeah, and somebody pointed that out, and I usually don't watch films for that purpose, but I'm seeing a weird trend, especially with The Boys, which at one point, even last season, was no holds barred with some really freaky mess. And now the shock value has minimalized, except in one particular direction, and the story doesn't make any sense anymore. Like it's gone the trend of what all these shows go. It's just like I won't even call it woke nonsense. It's just bad. I don't know if the writer has been doing bath salts and then just started writing stuff on the paper, but it's all falling apart, and it's just upsetting to see. I'm tired of seeing good shows go down.
That's the thing. Boys is already dropping. By the time the season's over, it may drop off as well. But Acolyte has already dropped off, and it's almost done too. So Acolyte is gone. So these are until Nielsen's come out, this is what we have to work with, legitimate. But the stands they're going to latch on to exactly what the shills tell them to latch on to, because this guy's a special piece of moron. This is a bullet point from this exclusive article from Shill Rant. So this guy's like,
exclusive on Screen Rant? Yeah.
Exclusive from Shill Rant. This guy thinks this is an own, and here's the actual thing right here. Exclusive data suggests the Acolyte is a Star Wars success story despite backlash. Mind you, the success is based on the fact that it's being rated only against other Star Wars shows from Disney.
That's terrible.
Yeah, you can't compare crap to crap and expect it to come off well.
But they're going to. The Acolyte success is revealed through a third-party data, despite review bombing controversy. It ranks second in streaming and engagement among Star Wars Disney Plus shows, outperforming 90% of top 100 TV shows. So that's put a pin in that, because I'm going to show you what this third party is, and then you're
okay.
Probably
okay. I was about to ask.
Wait for that.
Well,
Go ahead.
I don't believe this bullet point in and of itself, because all the other things like Samba aren't even reporting this, but they reported Ahsoka. They reported Book of Boba Fett. They reported Mandalorian.
Wait until you learn who this third party is. As I said a few minutes ago, we stumbled upon this during Mellow Mondays when I thought this was going to be a fun article to rip on, but no, it opens up a very deep rabbit hole that I sent Dermy down, because Dermy likes going down deep holes. So he actually dug up a little bit of stuff. We talked about it. So Dermy gets the credit for doing a little extra research, for confirming what we suspected on Monday. So real good. So exclusive third-party data reveals the Acolyte is a true success story from Star Wars after all. The streaming boom has made it very difficult. That's an understatement. With minutes viewed, it's a crap metric, but it's what we have to work with now to fully understand how different TV shows are performing, and especially so when they're controversial. The Acolyte has been subject of review bombing, meaning many traditional indicators are pretty much worthless. I don't know. Nielsen in about a week is still going to be accepted as the standard that your show is going to be crap. Pretty sure people are going to accept the traditional metric of Nielsen. Although Disney Plus TV show is known to have had lower viewership than Ahsoka in its first week, and Ahsoka only got worse, the other stats seem to design to confuse rather than shine a light on the situation. Screen Rant has spoken exclusively to Real Good. Have you guys ever heard of Real Good?
I have no idea what that is.
Oh, well, let's get right to it then. Here's Real Good. Real Good. They're not a statistical gathering service. They're an aggregate streaming website where you
then how are they getting their information?
They get it from the people who pay them to stream through them.
Never mind.
There's no questionnaires. There's no interviews. There's no actual real statistics. They are a streaming aggregate site. That is all they are. This is their third-party source that says.
So let me get this straight.
Good. Yeah.
Of the people who use Real Good, a lot of them like the Acolyte, or
maybe they just watched it and they watched it more than Ahsoka or Obi-Wan or whatever. I mean,
how old is this site? Maybe it's only recently become prevalent. So I think comparing to any show from even just last year is a worthless
I think
metric.
Jeremy said it's been around for at least a year or two, maybe.
Oh, then it's absolutely worthless to compare any shows on it.
Yeah. So you understand, this is their exclusive data from not even, Luminate, Stamba, Nielsen. Their whole purpose is to track data. This is a pay us so you can watch TV shows website. That's all this is. And they're taking their clicks. That's their data. Who clicked on a show? That's their data. So this is what this guy thinks right here is an oof to the chuds. They don't do their research. They just take whatever's handed them by the shills. But we do our research. So here it is. So Acolyte's a disaster. Here's the proof. If this is their evidence of who's saying it's good, I'm sorry, you just lost the fight. when we have actual evidence from an actual an actual statistical analysis, it fell off the current charting process. Are we surprised?
Not one bit. Here's my only issue, or not only issue, but my issue with this is that how is this a gotcha? Like, it's not even waving the red flag in front of a bull type of gotcha. This is a nothing burger.
This is wet fart in your pants.
Literally wearing leather.
Ooh,
This is nothing. This is nothing. The reviews are already in from countless people that have watched this show. Everybody and their grandmama knows that this is garbage. It's not debatable. It's not up for any form of, oh, maybe if you take. No, it's just bad. And no matter where you stand, it's a bad show. Just like all the Star Wars shows over the last three years or so. They've all been bad. But it's been 4 years? Has it been that long? Oh my God, 4 years. They've been bad. And that's part of the course. It's part of the course that Star Wars and ultimately everything on Disney Plus that deals with Marvel or Star Wars is going to be garbage. It's not even.
For Agatha? Are you ready for Agatha?
No one. Okay, Adam, I have a challenge for you. What's the title of that show?
It's changed 5 times. I don't know what the current title is. Agatha, I'm gonna scissor with another woman at this point. I don't know.
Pretty much. Let's call it like it is. Like Agatha, House of Horrors. That's what it's gonna be called. That's just it. Like, just cut out the middleman. This stuff is done. That joint's name is changed 87 times and somehow is still coming out. Can you even imagine what that budget is? Can you imagine what the budget of that show is? I'm already pointing up north of 200 million.
It has to be.
I'm already
just delays. It's this thing called interest.
Yeah. It's got to be north of $200 million because every time you make a title, guess what? That's money that you got to print.
Change the merch.
In order to advertise
for
each time that there's a new title. These people are so allergic to money and so allergic to quality that everybody has checked out.
Wasted money too. It's always. I mean, I already threw the last one I had in here out. It's because it's in the garbage, and I haven't gotten a fresh one today yet for tasty beverage consumption. But there is merch out there already for Captain Black Falcon America, but there's no movie. If you drink Coke Zero, it's my one treat beverage I allow myself on the weekends. Otherwise, I drink water all goddamn week long. They've got Captain Black Falcon America on the can. They've had it there for the past 2 giant packs I've bought from Costco because the movie is supposed to be out already.
That's right.
The movie's supposed to be out already. So a month ago, when I bought my last giant 38 pack from Costco, like, why is Black Falcon Captain America on it? And then somebody mentioned a week ago the movie was supposed to be out, and I'm like, oh, that's why. And then the last one I bought a week ago still has the merch. So they already wasted money on marketing merch surrounding this shit. So you're right. They probably already wasted so much money on every other version of Agatha title insert here, whatever hell it's called. It's to redo it all over again. It's just more money down the drain. It's more money down the drain. But I'm sure people will watch it on Real Good and they'll call it a success. Disney Star Wars has the fan base they want that will believe this. They'll just believe it when the shills tell them because they're idiots. This week, I didn't mention it till now because I wanted to impact it. You got the lightsaber whip this week. Now, you guys saw the trailers. I know you did because I made you watch it. Guess how much more there was of the lightsaber whip in the episode?
None.
What you saw in the trailer. So you already saw it. Yet a moron like this.
You didn't see her cut the bug in half. You didn't see the bug get cut in half.
So an extra half a second. Got an extra half a second of the light whip. But you essentially got the whole thing in the trailer. But morons like this, and if there's one here, there are 100 more on X Twitter. They think they're blessed. They think it was the greatest thing ever. It was so awesome. Flapping seals got fed dead fish and are happy for more. happy for more. And so they got the base they wanted, because then I mentioned it earlier, all they care about is thirst trapped in this dude. All they care about is having sex with this dude. Jed, I thought it was a kid's show.
Yeah, that's what they've said a few times. Yeah.
How many times have we been told you're overreacting? It's a kid's show.
Wait, this will be a kid show now? I thought it was supposed to be Kill Bill. Kill Bill's
But
not
no,
for kids?
Star Wars in general, we're always told Star Wars is made for kids.
Oh.
Whenever we
Space
criticize
Wizard.
Star Wars, they're like, "Why should you care? It's made for kids. It doesn't matter."
It's made for kids,
even though you vomit and cry when you see it. You're
or
telling us that you take it too seriously.
Or they're so happy to have this romance between them. The power couple that got me into loving Star Wars and Star Wars shipping again.
Why is that a thing? Why is Star Wars shipping a thing?
I've got to say this. This might be controversial, at least for the few seconds that I start. I miss Tumblr being prevalent. Not because I ever used it, or I think it's a garbage site, but it kept these crazy shippers segregated from the rest of the internet.
It's where they lived. We were happy they were there. It was a little dark, disgusting, dirty alley where they all hung out, and they stayed there. They were happy there.
Stay away from us.
But now it's, oh my God, I need this abusive relationship. I need it. Where they're going to now have dark side sex with the other. I mean, I hate this whole mashing up of names thing to make a ship. I hate it. I wish I could just go back to the days where shipping only happened in anime, when it was just contained in anime, and they were arguing over their pairings. But this is who they've cultivated.
Yeah.
And this is all they're talking about on X Twitter. They're either talking about this or they're crying over dead Daphne Keene and your neck snapped. That's who they're it's either that or this. That's all they're talking about.
I miss when the internet was segregated. I miss those days.
So says the black man.
Oh yes. Yes, indeed. I miss when there was Tumblr, when there was oh Jesus Christ. DeviantArt, Black. Yep, Dragon Lady, yep, exactly. When everybody had their own places to be, we didn't come in contact with each other, and life was good.
Yep.
Now that we all know each other exists, there's been nothing but pain and anguish and suffering. I want internet segregation back. I'm putting it out there. I am putting it out there. I need it back because I don't want to see this crap.
Go to the back of the bus.
Oh yes, please, please. I'm begging because I don't want to see this garbage. I don't want to see the idea of weird characters being shipped together now as weird art. No, look.
But you have to understand, this isn't so much a ship. Leslye Headland is purposefully pushing this.
She's an idiot.
Well, yes. Oh, and we're going to get into that in a minute. But this is all they care about. Sex. And if it's not gay sex, it's abusive sex.
Yeah,
this is
that's
abusive
weird.
Right here. This
I don't like that.
this is a dude manipulating a damaged woman into him, and everything is phallic here. It's all this and that. Watching him naked, taking the lightsaber. It says, oh, she's taking his own dick and putting it up against his neck. It's all there. Him telling her, here, eat this. Here, put on my helmet so you can be one with my dark side. It's all a part of it. And it's on purpose. Because they're doing it on the fly. Because we're going to get to in a minute. Leslye Headland admits in an interview that we're not going to watch that segment, but that they change a lot of this shit on the fly. It's not as intended. Everything with Manny Jacinto, Darth Zipperface, they changed midway through when they saw they had something that was going to be thirsty. So, and then this is.
Do you have her comments on the nudity? Leslye Headland's comments on the nudity?
I saw it, but I don't think I have. You can grab it because I had it. It's not. I didn't put it on my tabs. I had a bunch of things there. It's on tabs, but and this one's for Jed though, just to show you once again who this is made for. Gotta love Suggs. Never disappoints. There's this trend going on with the Disney stands. Your favorite Star Wars character and you. What's wrong with this picture?
Who the heck is that character?
Thank you, Jed. That's not Han Solo. That is not Han Solo. That is Alden Ehrenreich as me Solo. So no a fake fan, because they will always get it wrong. So thank you, Suggs, for never disappointing us with your retarded takes. But that's just the thing. It doesn't stop here, because this is exactly who Leslye Headland wants. She wants these brainless idiots watching this. She wants these people who are so easily fed everything from the teat of giant corporation Disney. They want easily manipulated people, because Leslye Headland has gone so far as to admit that this show, it's all about agenda, and it's all about breaking George Lucas's Star Wars, especially when you start with this right here. I talked about this earlier this week. She admits this show is about breaking down the Jedi, deconstructing the Jedi. It's all about it. It's all about it. Let's read what she says. And you guys, now with an interview with Maggie Lovett at Collider, Maggie Lovett, who a couple weeks ago during the Kiadi Mundi Wikipedia stuff said she's received hundreds, thousands of DMs telling her to get back into the kitchen, to do horrible things to herself, that she doesn't belong in Star Wars. This is another day in Star Wars as the woman, yet never showed a single receipt, because she said to show them would be only to fuel it further. Remember,
you can
that.
censor the ads if you don't want to fuel it further, but you do need to show proof.
She never did. She never did. But she told us that she had been attacked as a woman in Star Wars. So that's who gave this review. So she asks good old Leslye Headland, for you as a Star Wars fan, actually make it a little bigger for you guys. It's a little small on the screen there. There we go. For you as a Star Wars fan, for a fan of Star Wars, how much fun has it been to get to? Would you, as a real Star Wars fan, ever say it's been fun to pick apart the ideas that have been baked into the franchise for so long, and it's happy that you're flipping the narrative to make people look at things from a different point of view? Would you guys, as an actual Star Wars fan, ever remotely have that thought process cross your mind?
No, absolutely not. That's not what Star Wars is. So if you're coming at it from that perspective, you're not a Star Wars fan. You're not familiar with Star Wars, even at a basic level.
Yeah, you're not. So it's a ridiculous position to be asking this. So that proves right away we're dealing with one fake fan talking to another. Headland responded, I hope it's making people look at it from a different point of view. I can understand that fans, especially people who don't know the High Republic, so that's everybody.
So most people, yeah.
That's everybody, because nobody read it. Nobody reads it. Nobody reads it. Nobody buys the merch. They feel like I'm criticizing the Jedi as they exist in George Lucas's oeuvre. Gotta use a $10 word. Meaning the prequels in episode 5 through 6, but that's not the case. We're so much further back from that.
Well, hold on. I just want to ask, what happened to episode 4?
There's only
Obi-Wan.
in that one.
Yeah, that's
but
still a
no
Jedi, though.
Yeah, but she never watched it. She never watched it.
It's a weird one to intentionally leave out.
She only watched clips. Yeah, she only watched clips from Empire and Return of the Jedi. Come on. She didn't watch any clips from A New Hope. She did. We're so much further back from that. We're in an era that Obi-Wan is talking about in A New Hope. Oh, there she mentions New Hope, Jet. There she mentions it for you. We're in that period where the proliferation of power is so huge and far-reaching. She actually says in the video I'm going to show you in a minute at one point, she actually says there were too many Jedi. She actually says that in the interview. I don't have that queued up, but she says it in an interview. There were too many Jedi.
What Obi-Wan comments is she referring to here from A New Hope?
Oh, another where he's talking about the Old Republic, where the Jedi were the guardians of peace for 1,000 generations. That's what she's talking
good
about.
Things.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, but to her, there are too many Jedi in the High Republic and the Old Republic. Too many.
She's
Jedi.
probably one of those people who believe that the Purge was the balancing of the Force.
Yes, she is. She is. That balance requires less of something, as opposed to George's actual definition of balance in the Force, where the light side is prominent and the dark side is minimal. That's balance in the Force, according to George Lucas. All right, so we're that far back. We're in the next episode, you're going to see how far-flung particular missions are with the Jedi and lack of oversight. She attempts to explain, and I'm going to hold off my next comment until you read this part. In a follow-up question, she makes it clear her intention was, as Lovett states, we get a little bit of a tease here in this episode with the whole thing with Rayancourt, that's some politician talking to Master Leslye Headland's wife about an audit, essentially, of the Jedi Order, which I think is great. That's very true where George Lucas was approaching things in the prequels, which is very political and very much a response to the kind of dynamic of the Jedi. How many times are they going to roll out and get this wrong, guys? Prequels aren't political. They're politically themed.
Yeah.
Big difference.
There's a massive difference. I don't see the trade embargo of the Naboo by the Trade Federation as being a direct comparison to anything in modern politics. I might be missing something, of Reddit theories about what that was actually a reference to. Who knows? But yeah, that's what she interprets it to mean, is current day reference to current day politics. No, he was just showing the political structure of that world. Like good Game of Thrones back when it was good did the same thing. It had a lot of politics, a lot of intrigue, a lot of political systems, but it wasn't a reference to current day politics. They're different things. And the word political has multiple meanings, just like most words in the English language. But I don't think she is smart enough to be aware of that.
Yep, it is a reference to timeless political themes, not agenda. But as Andrew Wardner is pointing out here, all these idiots understand is injecting politics, current day shit into the media. That's what they think. That's what political theming is: shoving your agenda in our face and beating us over the head with it. That's what they think.
I dare her to read Machiavelli's The Prince. That would just blow her mind away, because that is how you do timeless political theming.
That's the manual for how to destroy your opponents. That is the manual. Headland replied to this, and now I'm going to come back to what she said before. Yeah, so comparing these Jedi to the Jedi in the prequels is a little difficult because it's 100-ish years. Hey, dumb bitch. It's only 100 years by your own show description. The Jedi have existed for 25,000 years. This is a drop in the bucket. And Yoda is still alive. Yoda is currently Grand Master. Nothing's really changed. So how can 100 years be a big difference to show what's going on? The only difference is that the Jedi are actually weaker when you get to the prequels in 100 years because of what Sidious Palpatine is doing with the dark side, clouding them, diminishing them. To suddenly have things change in 100 years, it's illogical, but they don't understand time, especially in a concept of the Jedi Order, which has existed for 25,000 years, and the actual commentary that the Jedi existed the same way for so long. That is why they lost in the prequel era, because they were rigid, they were dogmatic, they didn't realize they had to evolve, that some attachment was actually empowering, as Luke figures out when he launches the new Jedi Order. That attachment to your family is not a path to the dark side. In fact, it strengthens your compassion. It strengthens your resolve. It makes you stronger. But they don't understand this stuff. They don't get it. And Leslye Headland is admitting, when we go down here, she actually says it right here. Going back to your question, one of the interesting ways to unpack the Jedi is when they are at their height as they are, what are the things they're doing differently? A Jedi doesn't pull a weapon unless prepared to kill. That's just a High Republic concept. What's the line from Attack of the Clones? Aggressive diplomacy.
This weapon is your life.
Oh. Well, that, and it's that too. That too. Aggressive diplomacy. The Jedi are pulling out their lightsabers all the damn time. It's never kumbaya.
Even in A New Hope. Even in New Hope, Ben just whipped out his lightsaber, cut off that dude's arm with no qualms.
Yeah. And it was in defense.
The one and only time we've seen blood from a lightsaber.
Yeah, George hadn't figured that shit out yet. We forgive George. He was putting it all together.
We do forget. New Hope.
We forgive George.
Days.
Yeah. It's early days. He figures it out in Empire. Luke ain't bleeding out of his stump. It's seared shut. But the thing is, to say that the Jedi do not use their lightsabers or anything. There are other threats out there besides. I mean, she doesn't get. She thinks the only time a Jedi is going to pull their lightsaber is to fight another lightsaber wielder. It's retarded. But then she concludes right here. So my opinion and my experience and what I was interested in digging into is it seems like it's a time where you can break down the Jedi as a concept, whereas I wouldn't want to touch what has been established of them a century later. But how dead in the brain must you be not to realize that by deconstructing them in this version of Star Wars, you are actively harming everything in the future? Because
I'm not sure she understands how time works. Just like you were saying with hyperspeed, she doesn't know how time works. Events connect to each other. 100 years in a grand scheme of things isn't that much on a historical scale. That's not much at all. So of course, what she's doing is going to have impact. If she went like 10,000 years before, she could have an argument for that. That is plenty of time. That's like the middle, like you said, of the Jedi influence on the galaxy. Like that would be a good time to do something like that. But 100 years is way too close.
I mean, you can go back,
especially since certain species can live through both events, like Yoda,
exactly,
not Yadamundu.
It's not like 4,000 years prior, the end of the Mandalorian Wars, the time of Revan, the Jedi Civil War, and then going into a few hundred years later, the Second Republic Sith Empire War. That's where, again, Jedi were tested and changed due to circumstances. That's where you can explore the Jedi losing themselves. But this drop in the bucket history, it's nothing, but it doesn't surprise. And I'm going to play this clip. This is the thought process of Leslye Headland being interviewed by the Mary Sue's Rachel Leishman, who we've talked about many a time, as fake fan as you can get, whether it's Star Trek or Star Wars or anything, Doctor Who. This woman is a walking disaster. I'm going to play this clip. If you want to watch the full thing, I will share it I'll put the link in the description. We're done here, or you can go watch EFAP break down this interview. Funny as hell. But I'm going to play this clip. I want you to listen to Leslye Headland as she speaks with this. So let's go.
Away or a neck break. Was it important for you guys to like highlight like he's still a dude who very clearly like something happened that turned?
Now they're talking about Darth Zipperface. This is for episode 5, before episode 6. They haven't seen or talked about episode 6 yet. So they're talking about episode 5 and where Darth Zipperface is murdering everybody. But here's how Leslye Headland sees Darth Zipperface character development. Just listen to this.
Turned him into this, and it's not just an evil for evil's sake.
Absolutely, yeah. He always had to feel like he was operating from a place that.
She's having to think real hard.
What is she looking at?
She's looking up and to the left. And if I remember my body language correctly, that means you're digging into bullshit. If you're looking up and to the left, you're digging into your mental capacity of I'm making shit up. And Jed points out her background is ridiculous because her hair is covering some Lego Star Wars vehicles that you know goddamn well she didn't build. She had somebody else build it so it could be her background. And you see the typewriter right there. I'm a writer. I have a typewriter. Her background is ridiculous. It's about as fake as you can get. So she's thinking real hard about Darth Zipperface backstory.
I think what you're saying, it had to be clear that his character was always operating from
keep working.
I want to say a human place, although that's a strange word to use in Star Wars, but for the sake of the answer.
It took a long time to say nothing.
Meaning that as a human audience member, you would be able to follow. And
I'm going to borrow this from EFAP. What other audience members are there watching this besides humans?
What the heck is she talking about?
It's an EFAP joke. I give all credit to EFAP for that one. Who's watching this besides humans?
I am confused. What is she talking about? Didn't she write the character?
She's talking about Darth Zipperface's background, that he's got more of a story, Jay. Can't you follow her thought trail?
She wrote the character, and you can't tell me what their background is? What is this? What? Oh my God.
It gets better. It gets better. Go ahead, Jet. Go ahead.
I just want to help you out, Adam, though. And to answer your question, there are people who sexually identify as other species, so not everyone identifies as human. That might be who she's referring to.
Oh my god.
The deer
relate
people out there.
with, maybe not the murder, but you can definitely relate with what he's saying. You know, when he says, "I want freedom," they're like, "Well, yeah, everybody. You know, how can you not want that?" When he says, "The reason I'm doing this is because you say I can't exist." Like it's a very almost countercultural idea for.
Do you hear the word salad that is coming
What
out of
the
her
heck
mouth?
is she talking about? This woman is not well. Does she take meds? She's not well.
She eats a lot of clam.
Oh, haha. I see what you did there.
She's depressed. She wasn't hot enough for Harvey.
I am confused. Oh, that's also good. The word salad she just threw together was so asinine that I think I've become dumber for having listened to it. Yo, she literally said this person wanted freedom, so therefore he's going to kill people. However, there's nothing in this show indicating that anybody is stopping him from doing whatever he wants.
Well, he's a Sith. And
that means he wants to murder people.
That means he's evil because the Jedi say he's evil. And as Jed brought this up to me recently, reminded me of an article. Sith is a derogatory term created by the Jedi to just demean them. And
that's not true.
It's the N-word.
Right. That's in their world. Okay,
Yeah.
Let's just say it's Adam. Screw it. Let's just say it's true. Let's just say Sith is the N-word for dark side users. Let's just go through this gentleman's track record. We know outside of the Jedi he's murdered at least one storekeeper that didn't do anything wrong.
Yep.
So you exercised your freedom without the Jedi even being in play, and you committed grisly murder on somebody. What are we talking about here? The idea like, oh, he wants freedom. To do what? Just murder people without consequence? Why?
Yes,
why
that's why the Jedi is the bad
relating to this character?
Yeah.
Wait, Jed, say again?
Apparently.
Oh, yes, of course.
Because he's
of course.
Jed's lagging a little bit.
Am I?
We've had.
Yeah.
Well, I've been letting it go because I'm letting people capture. We've had pixelated Jed for a while now.
Yeah, we have had
Really?
pixelated Jed.
Oh, you guys look
yeah,
fine
yeah.
to me. Let me drop.
Yeah, for like at least
all right,
like 15, 20 minutes. But I just think it's funny because you like.
I was letting it go for the joke. I was letting him go for a joke. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I think he's resetting his camera.
Yeah.
But the idea of dang, you gone. Like, but the
I took him out while he does it.
Oh, okay. But the idea of this is stuff we can all relate to. No, my freedom doesn't involve me committing murder. I don't understand why this is supposed to be relatable. And she has the audacity to say, outside of the killing, the way he thinks is relatable to people. No, it's not. Because the overwhelming majority of people that exercise their freedom aren't committing murders or trying to kill people to gain something. This guy is not a freedom fighter. He's not fighting for anything. That's a good one. That's a good one.
Dre is now Sith representation on the panel.
I'm Sith representation.
Yeah.
You my Sith. I'm with it. I don't get these people. Sith with the A. With the A, Adam.
Yeah, okay.
You show some respect.
Oh, okay. Am I canceled now? Keep going.
But it's just wild. Like everything that this lady is saying is wild. And it just baffles my mind that she does not know the background of the character that she wrote. It just absolutely unacceptable. Unacceptable. You sat there and just no. Either you didn't write this, or you don't know what you're talking about, or both. And she needs to go.
She doesn't know what she's talking about. She doesn't.
Yeah, she doesn't know what she's talking about at all.
Let's let her finish.
I rewrote that scene so many times. I can't tell you that when I finally got you brought her here, I was like, thank you, Jesus. Like I was.
So he's referring to the fact that right after Daphne Keene's character got Swiss cheesed, Darth Zipperface is taunting Master Squid Game when he says, "You killed a child. You brought her here." Because it's her job as a Jedi to keep the peace, and we're training her. And it also, I could pick apart from a story purposes. You don't bring a Padawan who hasn't even really constructed her own lightsaber yet, because the lightsaber she borrows, it's a borrowed lightsaber. She hasn't. This kind of one of the final things you do is construct your own lightsaber. Dave Filoni's bullshit in the Clone Wars with younglings making lightsabers, that's not a thing. That's Dave Filoni butchering lore again. The final test of a Jedi is to construct your lightsaber. So she was having a borrowed lightsaber in this. So she hadn't finished her training.
I mean, did she? I mean, once again, I didn't watch it. Did she literally borrow a lightsaber? Show her borrow one?
No. Well, she did borrow Kelnakas during the fight for crap dual wielding purposes. But if you are a Padawan and you're out there, you're borrowing a lightsaber. That's why when you see a full-fledged Jedi, their lightsabers look unique.
Yeah,
because every Jedi constructs his or her lightsaber to reflect themselves and their designs and how they want to do everything. That's why Padawan lightsabers look generic, because it's handed out to them so that they're not defenseless, but it's not the one they've constructed. That's why Obi-Wan's lightsabers, after Phantom Menace, they all look unique because he built a new one, and then he had his iconic one in Revenge of the Sith. That's why Anakin's lightsaber is unique when you get to Revenge of the Sith, because he's a full-fledged Jedi and he built his own lightsaber by then. That's why Luke, when he makes his lightsaber, it looks unique. Of course, that's a different era, but you go back in time, you understand. That's why Mace Windu's lightsaber looks unique. Lightsabers are unique when they make it. Well, that's the thing. Luke was technically a Padawan, Ariel. He was a Padawan. It was a borrowed lightsaber, and he didn't have the knowledge. He doesn't learn how to build a lightsaber until they go back to Tatooine when they're about to rescue Han, and he goes to Obi-Wan's shack in the Jutland Waste, and he finds notes on how to construct a lightsaber and make a fake kyber crystal, a synthetic kyber crystal, because the original light crystal in Luke's lightsaber is a synthetic kyber crystal. It's not a real kyber crystal, but Obi-Wan had notes on how to make a synthetic one, and you watch him do it in Shadows of the Empire. So Luke, technically, it was his lightsaber.
The deleted scene too. In Return of the Jedi,
that was the
deleted scene.
That was the inspiration for.
Am I still lagging?
You just started to again. You were fine for a minute there. Go kick the hamster or something. But no, that was the.
You guys look totally fine to me.
I'll take that compliment, Jed. I'll take that compliment.
Yeah, that was the inspiration. The deleted scene was the inspiration for the Shadows of the Empire part. That was the inspiration for it. So Jed's absolutely right. But she doesn't. For her to say that the whole. But going back to her point though, she's trying to say, "Oh my God, I was so happy that I wrote that you brought her here to this thing. That the reason she's dead. It's a retarded circular argument logic to try and back up the point of view that the Jedi are deficient, that they're wrong in how they work, how they do everything. It's not how it works. The Jedi take their Padawans, not younglings, their Padawans, into all kinds of situations to learn, to understand. Now, should you have brought a Padawan to this fight because May was a known threat, even though to us she's completely incompetent in her abilities? She's a known threat. Every other person that died there, every other person except for Daphne Keen's character, was a full-fledged Jedi. So they should be there. Technically, knowing that it's a threat where Jedi Masters have been killed by this person, even though they're not sure how, you don't bring a Padawan to this. You shouldn't. But they're setting it up. Her whole purpose in this is to show that the Jedi are just that they're not good, that they're bad guys, that they don't care the right way, that they're so selfish in their belief in this and that, and they're reckless, and they take these children. They kidnap these children from their homes and brainwash them. Because that's a Sith point of view, and we have to acknowledge that from a Sith point of view, maybe they're correct. So let's finish her up there, and we'll move on.
It was like, it's so important what the first few lines this person says, so that exactly what you're saying, like you just get locked into his point of view as a character, not a bad guy. And I felt
there it is. As a character, not a bad guy.
He has committed countless murders. That's what bad people do. Yep. It's murder.
Just killed 7 Jedi. But from if you look the right point of view, according to Leslye Headland, he's not a bad guy. You have to understand from his perspective, he's doing the right thing. Because he's
Adam, even by their own twisted nonsense, the Jedi are still good. Because even in the previous episode, when Master Squid Game had him dead to rights, he didn't murder him. He still was going to arrest him. So what the heck is she talking about?
Nonsense.
This girl has she doesn't know what she's written. She has no clue that you have framed the Jedi as good guys, despite you're trying to make them look bad. This woman has no idea what is going on at all. The bath salts and whatever else that they're huffing, they need help. They need help.
You got the gist of it. And if anybody wants to watch the full video, here it is in the link. Here's the link in the description. And if you want to watch EFAPs, I recommend go watching EFAP's breakdown of it. It is hilarious. It's fun. They do their EFAP thing. It was keeping me company while I was just grinding away on Final Fantasy 14 yesterday. We've seen enough of that. We might come back to it in future times, but you understand now. I don't make it up when I say she's an idiot. I'm not making that shit up. She's a moron. So you see she's a moron from a creative standpoint, and her whole purpose. That confirms what I said a moment ago here, that it's all about deconstructing the Jedi. It's been the whole purpose. But then it gets compounded when she admits she's using Star Wars and the Acolyte to push a discussion on gender norms.
Ugh.
It's so wildly intentional.
What else you got? Do you have anything else other than who's scissoring? Do they have anything else? Nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Like, look who's smushing butts. No one cares, man.
I think this is what Jeb was referencing before, and this more from this interview with Maggie Lovett. It's so clear what's going on. So anybody that's picking up on it, congrats, awesome. But again, the dynamics had to be what they are after what he did in episode 5. He cannot seem like an alpha male intimidating. We know he's capable of that from 5, but that cannot be his dynamic with her. It wouldn't make sense. Talking about Darth Zipperface and Osha, as I've already laid all out. We have to see this other side of him. We have to see specifically the way he is with her. He never met May. He never let May see his face, and he let her see him naked. You know what I mean? The character design was very, very intentional. But also, this is, again, the story of the bad guy. So unlike Rey and Kylo, where Rey is always this lighter of colors, he's in black, then Sith would be in white, and the character really is struggling both sides and would be wearing gray. It just seems like it had to be that way. It's true that masculinity and femininity are not rigid categories. It's possible, for example, that a husband's way of being masculine can be flexibly adapted to a wife's work schedule. Taking on domestic chores or some aspects of raising children does not make him any less masculine or imply figure or responsibility or cause a scheme. A rigid approach to an over-accentuation of the masculine or feminine and does not help children and young people appreciate the genuine reciprocity incarnate in the real conditions of matrimony. Such rigidity in turn can hinder the development of individuals' abilities to the point of leading him or her to think, for example, that it is not really masculine to cultivate art or dance and not very feminine to exercise leadership. Do you need any more? Do you need any more examples that these people do not care about the content they have been handed to work with? They care about injecting all their stupid bullshit into this.
The hilarious thing I find in all this is that they keep acting on it's the first time it's happened, but it's like, hang on a minute, we saw Anakin shirtless on Revenge of the Sith. Did everyone forget that?
That's different.
Yeah,
that's dead, waking up.
Yeah, exactly. That was a different situation in comparison to what we're seeing here. This is anything but that.
It's blatantly, look at this dude in all nakeds in the bathwater. So you can see the scars on his back that he was abused by a Jedi, most likely. And so we could see Amanda Stenberg check out his dick.
There's something wrong with these people.
There
like
is.
legitimately. There's something wrong with these folks.
Yeah.
And the idea that whoever wrote this paragraph, first of all, has never met another human being, I don't think.
Well, this is Leslye Headland. This is Leslye Headland speaking.
Oh, these were her words.
These are her words.
Oh, no.
Oh, you didn't realize that. I'm sorry. I didn't make that clear. No, this is Leslye Headland talking about gender norms.
Oh, come
And why
on.
it's important that she injects it all into the Acolyte.
We get that you scissor. We got it already. Jesus H Christ. But the idea of this thing about masculine and feminine and all that stuff, about like household chores or whatever. Look, I was lucky enough to grow up in a 2-parent household, especially in the Black community. That was a rare thing. Just call it like it is. Call it like it is. My father was by every measurable definition a masculine man. He was hard nosed. He didn't play around, but at the same time, he knew that he hunkered down and helped out the household. If there was something that needed to be cleaned, something that needed to be taken care of in the house, that was not a masculine or feminine thing. That's called taking care of your business.
It's called responsibility.
Yes, it's got nothing to do with what's in between your legs or how you feel as a person. This is about taking care of your business as a man or a woman or whoever. You take care of your household.
I mean,
responsibility.
In my household, whether it's family or anybody else comes through it, I take care of the food because I'm the best at it. I'm a professionally trained chef.
Makes sense.
I make the best food. So therefore, I handle the majority of food preparation and service. That doesn't take away from my masculinity. It's what I do. I take care of my own laundry. I clean my own shit. I take care of shit. It's called living life.
Yeah.
But they have to inject this weird gender crap into everything to try and say, oh, you're masculine. You're still masculine if you're wiping your baby's ass. No, it's called changing a diaper.
Yeah, that's called changing a diaper. That's what you do in real life.
Sometimes it falls on you to do it.
Like you mentioned a year or so ago, Adam. These people don't know what real life is. They really don't. They've lived in a bubble in California for their entire lives, engaging in the X Division Championship, and have no idea what's going on and what real people that live real lives do. The idea that this poor, unfortunate woman that has no idea what real life is equates masculinity and femininity with responsibility of a household. That's insane. These people aren't they are not well-rounded individuals. The idea that you're going to say, oh, we're pushing the idea that anybody could be anything and masculinity, feminine, and the examples that you put in front of us is how real people just live their lives.
Yeah.
You are not well. You do not know what femininity means. You do not know what masculinity means, because Leslye Headland is not a feminine woman under any measurable metric. I know femininity. I grew up with femininity, and femininity is not a weakness. It is not. It is two sides of the same coin, femininity and masculinity. Femininity is a strength in of itself, because nurturing and being able to take care of and be able to upbuild is very, very important. And these are feminine qualities that women have. And it's very, very important for a society. Masculinity involves protecting, providing, and being a leader. These are also very, very important qualities that are usually innate in men. We need both sides. The idea that you're like, we're going to twist it up and make it up, and you don't know what you're talking about. You don't know what you're talking about. And these people, sometimes I feel sorry for them. Like, legitimately, sometimes I feel sorry for them. I know you don't, Adam, but let me cook.
My pity is reserved for the people I care about. That's
I agree. No, this is where I'm coming from. I feel sorry for the fact that they never will ever understand what it's like to actually be a human being. They will never experience that for their entire existences, because they're stuck in this weird quasi liberal cut your penis off bubble, and they have no idea what it's like to actually be a person. And the idea that, hey, we're going to push this idea that none of this stuff really exists, because they have absolutely no idea how it actually works. And these people should be ashamed of themselves. And their parents should be ashamed of themselves. And their parents should be ashamed of themselves.
It goes back. These are people who were raised in homes that either pushed this shit or didn't actively take part in their growth. And they picked this shit up when they found a mentor in certain places that guided them down the red diaper baby path. And Ariel, Ariel, I'm not wearing an apron at all.
Now we're getting somewhere.
Don't do with that what you will.
TMI.
Do with that what you will.
TMI.
So I think we've successfully made the case today. The Acolyte is a disaster in terms of its reception. It's being lost. It's falling away. And Leslye Headland really is a moron.
Oh yeah.
And she is not good at her job. She shouldn't even have this job. She should not have any job with writing or directing.
No.
Because
she's a personal assistant, nothing more.
Exactly. And she's an evil person. Because of her experience as a personal assistant, she was a gatekeeper to a monster and let it happen for years. That's what we got to remember. Some people want to say, oh my God, she was only there for a few months. No, she was there for years.
Mm-hmm.
She confessed as much.
And she used that information to buy her way into Hollywood and get what she has now. And then hides behind her scissor and shield. And it's there is nothing to her. She's not a fan of anything. She's a fan of herself. So this is, without a doubt, we'll probably come back to this. We got 2 more weeks of this bullshit. I'll probably find something else she says in another interview after whatever happens next week on Acolyte. Find something else. We'll come back to it. We're going to have a gigantic, big, thick book of receipts that she is a fake fan. She's bad at her job and only cares about the agenda. And I'm going to say this now as we end our discussion of the Acolyte and move on. I guarantee it'll be a flashback episode next week. I haven't seen anything. I guarantee that since we saw in previous clips, we're going to see the Jedi fighting each other. Kelnaka will finally get to be a Wookiee Jedi on screen. They'll be fighting a guy who ganked himself with the poison when he was a Padawan, and that scar will be from Kelnaka, and I guarantee Kelnaka's going to scratch him, and no one's going to understand in Disney Star Wars land why that's a very, very bad thing for any Wookiee to do, let alone a Jedi Wookiee. The term is Mad Claw. I'm going to leave it there. I'll probably come back to it in my review on Wednesday, either mid-afternoon or late afternoon, depending on when I wake my dumbass up in the day to do it. All right? So tune in for that. It should be more fun and games. All right, so changing gears. Completely different franchise, completely different genre of nerdity. There's been a lot of leaks of the James Gunn set, Superman Legacy. A few weeks ago, we got the full look at David Korn's, Superman suit. I talked about it on Mellow Mondays because it happened at that point, so it was relevant then. And also, it gave Samuel, our good friend Samuel the Infamous, gave him a chance to really rip into it because he is not happy with anything he's seeing. And I usually save it for that because I want to make him suffer. But this stuff dropped at this point in the week, so it's Dre's turn to suffer as our resident DC comic expert. I am a casual at this point. Dre, you've seen these set pics.
Oh yes, I have gazed upon them. Yes.
We have talked about them to an extent at some point on how this movie is an ensemble movie. Here's the first overall shot of it. Here's the first one. Let's go to this one here first. Here's the brief shot of everybody that we've seen so far. There's also a dude in blue who I'm going to assume is Metamorpho for CGI purposes.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't think it's been confirmed who that is, but I'm going to go on a limb and say it's Metamorpho as well.
Yeah, I'm saying Metamorpho. But here we go. So we got Hawk Girl We'll get a bigger close-up like that. We've seen Mr. Terrific, which, yes, is comic accurate, but that dude ain't pulling it off.
No, it isn't.
He had not pulling it off. We've the David Cornswallet New 52 inspired with a little bit of Kingdom Come soup. You could watch. Samuel gave a great breakdown of all that a couple weeks ago, and then good old Nathan Fillion.
What's with his hair?
That's the Guy Gardner. That is the Guy Gardner haircut and all its gayness.
Guy Gardner hair.
All its bold glory, all its bold cook glory. But dude, I said it. I've got this. I said Nathan Fillion was not a good choice to play Guy Gardner. We're not even going to talk about Guy Gardner being here in the first place. Dre, this is not working.
No, it's not. And look, Nathan Fillion, I actually like him in all the animated Green Lantern stuff.
We're not that's not the discussion here. We like.
I know. I'm gonna get there. Just for a little clarity. I like him in all the animated stuff. I think he's great as Green Lantern. I think he's great as Hal Jordan. I think all that stuff is amazing. This looks like I made it, and that's a big problem. I'm not a seamstress on any level. This looks rough, and only thing I can assume is that it's going to be tightened up with green screen. But as far as let me go with the positives first. I like the way Mr. Terrific's is comic accurate. I like that. I don't think the actor really fits it very well, but nonetheless, I can tell that there was effort put.
Yeah.
Here's my big problem. What they've done to my girl Shiara Hall is criminal. That is unacceptable.
Unless they're saving the better part CGI over.
They're CGIing her wings, but you look at it right here.
Right.
Dre, I think there's very little doubt that this is reincarnation Hawkgirl. This ain't Thanagarian Hawkgirl.
No, without question. I don't think they're going
there. Walking around in that outfit.
No. I'm pretty sure it's going to be reincarnation one. But I don't like the outfit. I don't like the way it fits. I don't like the helmet. I don't like it. I don't like the mace.
Where's the ginger? Jed, where's the ginger?
Adam.
Adam. Dyslexic Hollywood.
Adam, are you doing this right now? You know gingers aren't real. We know that already. They're not real.
We have Ginger Jesus. He's going to resurrect them all here now.
Nope, he's really black. That's really a black guy down there. That's a black guy.
Yes.
Okay? There are no more gingers.
Red hair, just black face.
That's it. And I love Shiara Hall. I love Hawkgirl. I think she's a great character. I think she's been great in just about every incarnation there have. Even the CW one. I didn't really have a problem with. It was really, really good. And she was hot. So now I get this. What the heck is going on with her outfit?
Why are they all bikers? All three of them have biker jackets.
I don't know what's going on, but I don't like it. And the helmet is trash. Burn it. Yeah. Burn it. I'd rather have her without the helmet and just have long flowing hair and a cool mace with a cut-in bodysuit with the golden armor.
Do you think that's an nth metal mace?
Wait. Say it one more time, Adam.
Do you think that's an nth metal mace right there?
No, it's not. That one's made out of rubber. It's not even close. And see, here we go. Nth metal. Not only does it supposed to give off an aura, it ain't black.
It's gray.
Ever.
Silver.
It's gray or silver, or in some cases platinum. Yeah. All acceptable colors. This is not it. What have they done? Out of everybody that's here, she got the worst deal out of all of it.
My driving instructor was talking about this yesterday, and he was saying basically the exact same thing everyone else, and he is saying that, oh my god, what is it with the costumes? And I'm kind of mixed about them. I don't really like what I'm seeing with Green Lantern. The hair looks wrong. I'm sorry, the hair looks wrong.
But that is Guy Gardner's haircut. It's
the color. I'm thinking, is he supposed to be blonde?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, he is supposed to be blonde.
Right here. There it is. Right there.
Yeah, but when
Nathan Fillion just doesn't have the face.
And he doesn't have the figure. He doesn't have the figure, and the haircut is weird. It is weird. Yeah. I've been cool with a buzz cut. Do the buzz cut. I've been okay with that. That'd been cool. But that mop that they put on my boy's head is unacceptable. That is unacceptable. Now I don't know who's doing the wigs. Fire them. Fire them immediately. Fire whoever your costume designer is. Okay, let me go to Superman real quick. I personally don't have an issue with the Superman costume. I know quite a few folks don't. Now I don't think Corn
it's not
Sweat.
End of the world. Yeah, it's not the end. It's
not the worst one we've seen.
Yeah, Corn Sweat. I don't think he fills it out very well. Personally, in my personal opinion.
Jacked too. He got jacked for this. I don't know. Understand why they padded it because he put on the muscle. I questioned if he was going to be able to do it. No, he went on the roids and he put it on. So
yeah. And look, I love Kingdom Come Superman. That's my favorite crest. I love that crest. I think it's great.
But it doesn't belong here, does it?
No, it does not. That's the issue.
Yeah,
that's the issue. And like if they were going to use any S, I guess could have used Original Adventures of Superman S would have been perfect for this. New 52, I guess you already got the edge cutting. Might as well just use that crest. But putting the Kingdom Come on, like
it has a meaning. I mean, Samuel has explained this to me multiple times. It has a meaning.
Yeah,
and it means it's a Superman who's given up on the world.
Yes, this is in-game Superman. That's in-game Superman. And this Superman is, from what I understand, is supposed to be early
career, like maybe 5-10 years in. My problem with this, and this is I'm reiterating what I said. I don't really like it because it's too busy. All these lines.
That's from New 52.
The New 52 neck.
Yeah.
Hey, you got the trunks, Mazel Tov. You got the trunks, but they also don't quite look right. They just don't.
What, the trunks?
The trunks.
I didn't have a problem with the trunks. I don't really have an issue with it.
I mean, I like the trunks, but it just I think it's the way it's sitting on him without being touched up. Something about it just doesn't, as a whole, it doesn't look right, and it doesn't feel right to me. It just doesn't feel right.
It's definitely progress over Henry Cavill, but it's far from perfection.
Agreed.
Far from perfection.
I agree. 100%. Like that is like one of the least offensive things that's been displayed so far.
Oh yeah.
What they've done to my girl Shiara Hall is a crime. I will be doing a class action lawsuit. This is wrong. This is wrong.
I mean,
she is bad, and this is what they've done to my girl. She's beautiful in every incarnation, a sexy she demon. I love her, and you gave me this. Why does she have a biker jacket? Explain yourselves. What is this?
I think this is just further evidence of why James Gunn is the wrong person to do Superman, especially, and just really any prominent superhero, because he's very much a contrarian. He likes doing satire to a certain extent. Like Guardians of the Galaxy and The Suicide Squad are great satire on those types of films. That's not what we need or want from Superman. That's actually a detriment.
The costumes look very much like what he did with Guardians of the Galaxy. That almost Hot Girl's one looks a bit like Gamora's costume. I don't know if it's just my imagination or what, but
now
that's the vibe I'm kind of getting.
Yeah, I mean, now we're being highly critical here because that's what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to take what's given to us and say whether it looks good or not. But this doesn't necessarily break the movie.
I won't say that.
It doesn't. But have you guys heard the rumored plot?
I have not. I'm not done about stuff.
Okay. I'll read it to you right here. I'll read it to you. Here's the rumored plot. Now, it's a rumor. It's normally we don't put a lot into this, but we're getting a lot of set picks. We're getting all these set picks. We're seeing all this stuff. If we see Millie Alcock's Supergirl appear, it could lend credence to this. So other superheroes are edgy and kill when necessary. Superman is an outcast among them for his optimism and no-kill rule, and ultimately inspires them to change their ways. Lex Luthor is a war profiteer on an armed conflict on a foreign nation called something they've made up. Not even going to try to pronounce that. Superman intervenes in the conflict, and the U.S. government deploys a clone created by Luthor dubbed Ultraman to arrest him. Ultraman deteriorates into Bizarro and goes rogue, Superman and his super friends must stop him while Lois and the Daily Planet staff work to expose Luthor for his crimes. Movie reportedly ends with Superman revealing his secret identity to Lois, Luthor avoiding repercussions and going on to run for president, Supergirl arriving on Earth, plus other setups like the Engineer getting recruited into the Authority. If this is true, this is a mess, and this is not the first. This is not the first outing you want. Bizarro. We're going with Bizarro, and also as Samuel explained to me. When we went over this possible leak, Ultraman is an alternate reality Superman.
That is correct.
Not the Bizarro clone gone bad.
That is correct.
And it leads to the fact now, right here, here's a script that there's Ultraman with the U. So there could be some credence to this when they bring him in, when he intervenes in the conflict. And they mentioned Supergirl arriving. They mentioned getting ready for the Authority. They was if we
what are we doing?
If we see, well, remember, this is all about setting up Gods and Monsters Chapter 1. I'm putting it out there. I said it on Monday. I'll say it again here for the purpose of this conversation. James Gunn cares more about setting up his universe than telling a Superman story.
100% correct.
With this ensemble here, with this setup of the villain we're going for, and also because remember, if Bizarro, not as strong as Superman, but he's up there because Superman has to take him seriously. All these other characters, and I'm including Hawkgirl because if it's reincarnation Hawkgirl, one punch and she's down. This ain't Thanagarian Hawkgirl who could take a punch.
That's true.
They are all getting
unless she has the enchanted armor, which I know they're not going that route.
Leather jacket. They don't have no armor. Leather jacket.
God.
Mr. Terrific. Metamorpho can take a punch, but what's he going to do?
Metamorpho is pretty OP.
Yeah, but most of these guys, they're getting aced if they're fighting Bizarro.
Agreed.
Bizarro's making them putty on the floor.
That's also correct.
So they have no business in any of this. And let's do another Lex Luthor story. Let's rush to Lex Luthor running for president. Let's rush to that.
Adam, remember when what was that? That was 2022 when the list came out, right? I remember 2022 when the announcement was made.
We have gone over that so many times.
Yeah. And we both kind of made a consensus that you start off with the big three and then expand outward.
Yeah.
This is exactly why you do that. You have a standalone Superman movie. Why is this a Justice League with the D-list crew? Why is this?
Because
what is this?
James Gunn is friends with Nathan Fillion and needs to get him in there. It's not even an S-tier Green Lantern. It's goddamn Guy Gardner.
It's Guy Gardner, for God's sake.
Because they're saving Jon Stewart and Hal Jordan for the TV show on HBO.
But here we go. And look, once again, I like to be fair. Let's say we have a standalone Superman movie and a Green Lantern makes a cameo. Cool. Yeah. I'm fine with that. But this story should be about Superman and give him a big bad. Let's throw balls to the wall.
Here's a great moment. Just go with what you just said there. Big battle. Superman's fighting one of his villains. It's tearing up Metropolis, and there's so much carnage that the people are in trouble. But he has to focus on the villain. He can't be everywhere at once. Suddenly, people. He with all the speed. It's either stop Metallo from blasting somebody or go save people from the collapsing bridge. Superman he's not that fast. Oh, he looks over. Suddenly, a green sphere is holding up that bridge, and Hal comes down and says, "Hey, Clark, need a hand for a second here. I'll handle crowd control. You deal with Metallo."
Perfect. That's
all you need. That's all you need.
That's it. And we're done. Now we're able to introduce Green Lantern instantly without taking anything away from the story. This isn't hard to do. Am I insane? Does no one know how to write anymore?
No.
Nobody. No. Nobody knows. Superman does not need an entourage. Ever. Period. There are a few characters that never need an entourage. Oh, gee, let me list them for you. Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman. These three characters can stand on their own. And then
it's like Captain America Civil War all over again. It's Captain America. Oh, by the way, we have half the Avengers in it. Hang on a minute.
Yeah,
Well,
that
at least
was
that
Avengers
movie
3.
benefit on setting it up over several films. We knew these backstories. We knew what was all leading towards Civil War.
Yeah.
If you just started with Civil War, no context,
At
that
all.
movie would be despised. It would be confusing as hell.
Absolutely,
So
110%. And
we're
that's what this is.
And we
I
didn't
don't
need
need to
an
see Mr. Terrific.
we
I don't
didn't
need to
need
see
an
and
origin
granted,
story. Yeah, and we didn't need an origin story, but don't drop us into a situation like this. Don't do it.
Ultraman. Ultraman. What are we doing?
Yeah, and Ruben X is right. And because I'll zoom into myself for a second right here. Yeah, I got all that right there. I got Batman TAS. I got Superman Adventures. I got Justice League, one regular and unlimited. All I'm missing is Batman Beyond. I got it all right there. That is the template. The Paul Dini, Bruce Timmverse is the template for how you do this shit.
Agreed. 110%. And the idea that they're going, I don't even know where Ultraman is coming from. I don't know if they're doing alternate dimensions right when we jump in.
It says here it's just a clone made by Lex Luthor.
Oh, for crying out loud. Okay. See, this is garbage. Okay. If this rumor is true, this is garbage.
Yeah.
Why are we
It's
doing
a mess.
this? Adam, I got a better movie for you. You ready?
Yeah.
Brainiac. The end. That's it.
Yeah.
That's all I need. I need Superman. I need Brainiac. That's all I need.
Yeah.
I can craft an entire story from that. I don't need 800 different characters and Ultraman turning into Bizarro. What are we doing? What are we doing?
So here, this is the I wanted. I'm sorry I had to hurt you, Dre, but this is a rumor. But with the Ultraman set pick, and if we see Millie Alcock appear on set in her Supergirl outfit, that would lend more credence to this. Now we are literally a year. It is a year from now. We are a year and 2 weeks away from the premiere of this movie.
Ugh.
We could be massively wrong.
That would be great.
We could be wrong, but I have no faith in this from everything I keep seeing. They're not the costumes and the looks. It shows somebody who's not taking the time to be serious. James Gunn is not being serious.
I won't argue against that because he wants to get to his freak mess. That's the thing.
He wants to get to the freak.
Yeah, he wants to get to the stuff that he can have more creative control over because these characters are more obscure, like the Creature Commandos and all the rest of them. The Authority. Thank you. Yeah. And all the other nonsense that's coming down the pipeline. I remember when we looked at it, like, why is Batman 10 movies away? Like, what the freak are you doing?
And he wants to get to Damian Wayne. He doesn't want to get to Dick. Doesn't want to get to any of them. Just wants to go right to
and like when you're not going to take this seriously. And now, once again, I want to give a little bit of credit. The costumes, for the most part, are comic accurate, and I want to give a little credit there.
Yeah.
Outside of Shara Hall, whatever they're doing to her, stop it right now. But everything else in regards to for the look of the characters, I want to be fair. If you told me who these characters were, I would immediately recognize them. So I got to give some credit there.
Yeah.
Outside of that, if this plot is true, you all should be ashamed. And like you said, Adam, we don't need another Superman origin story. That's fine. That's good. Give us Superman in the middle of him doing superhero stuff, but just give us a Superman story. Let's focus on him. I don't need 8 different heroes to look at so you can make 5 different movies coming from. We don't need to do that.
No.
Simple stuff.
No, and he's going to Damian Wayne because Damian Wayne is his favorite Robin.
Yeah, and once again, I want to be fair. But Damian Wayne is the lesser of the Robins. Everybody else can come fight me. I'll put Carrie Kelly over her. Okay, I don't care. I don't care. If you want to say that, like, oh, we're going to do a Damian Wayne because you want to get the Super Sons or something, I got it. But in this Brave and the Bold, you better give me all the other Robins. You better give me Nightwing. You better give me Red Robin. You better give me Red Hood. You better give me Batgirl. You better give me everybody. I want the whole Bat family. Don't talk about like, oh, they're in Bloodhaven and they won't be seen. Go kill yourself. You should be ashamed of yourselves. You should be ashamed of yourselves. So once again, James Gunn, I'll give him credit where credit is due. When it comes to obscure characters, he knows how to make obscure characters popular.
Yeah.
He's done it several times. I'll give him credit there. But this is not the time. Give me Superman doing Superman things. Give me Wonder Woman doing Wonder Woman.
Wonder Woman nowhere in sight in this entire phase. Nowhere in sight. We're gonna get
He's Batman.
We're getting Themyscira Game of Thrones is what we're getting.
Yeah. Who wants that? Who wants that? Especially with the no nudity policy, except if you see dudes, then what are we wasting our time? You're wasting
Nubia or whatever
time.
the Black Wonder Woman gonna be the main character.
I don't know. There's no news on that yet. All we know is that it's supposed to be Game of Thrones on Themyscira. So
don't do that. I don't want that. I don't want that at all. And I don't want to see that. Look, Themyscira, Greek Isle. I want to see Greek women running around. Okay, period.
Topless.
I get that. Hello,
topless Amazon.
Hello, Moses. Now we're getting somewhere. See, and that's what I'm saying.
That would
like,
make historical sense too.
Yes, because they're created by Zeus, man. Like, what are we doing?
Zeus likes his eye candy.
Yes, they were crafted by Zeus. And guess what? That's a Greek god. So I want to see Greek. If I see some Chinese black, I'm through. I'm like, bruh, just stop the madness. Like,
Dre, they could have kidnapped some Chinaman on the way to sailing someplace and babied him up.
Yep. What wouldn't surprise me?
Asian Amazon. Because
oh yeah.
Yeah.
Because man, you already know they're all gonna be lesbians. Oh goodness gracious.
Yeah.
They're sisters, man.
I don't. So listen, we could be wrong. We want to be wrong.
I want to be wrong really badly.
But James Gunn has not done anything to give me faith personally. So I have very little faith in this. We'll find out in a year. When it drops, I'm pretty sure we're all gonna watch this because we're all gonna have to know whether we're right or wrong. I mean,
I will look, it's a DC property. I of course will go and see it. That is the law. I will go see a DC property. So I would definitely go see this, and I would definitely review it and see what's going on because I really want to be wrong. I want this movie to be good.
And I'm waist deep on this. I've talked about this enough. I have to put my money where my mouth is, or
waist deep.
My money. I might not spend the money, but you know what I mean. I will have to give a real take on this. I can't avoid not watching it. I have to see it only because also it's the first thing. And we're not necessarily calling this. Have we once said woke in any of this?
No.
We once said agenda, SJW.
Just
no,
bad.
We're talking about
looks bad.
Adaptation is what we're talking about here. Yeah. It looks like it's going to be a poor adaptation. The evidence that we've seen, if the rumors are true, compared with these very shoddy looking costumes. I just don't have faith. The only person who looks right is Lois Lane. She's the only person who looks right in this whole damn thing.
Yeah, they got the purple jacket on her. That's cool.
And I think I saw that she had purple contact lenses in for her eyes.
Even better.
I think I saw that in one screen cap. I think I did.
I like that.
I think I did. So great. You got it took only 20 years to get Lois to look right.
That's
good job.
Oh goodness. Yeah,
problem is Perry White's black. So sorry. But at least what's his name?
Well, he's now black in most of the stuff now. I know. Whatever.
At least Jimmy's a ginger.
That's nice.
Yeah, Jimmy's for now.
Ginger Jimmy, crazy.
Okay, so I want to go over one more thing today, and I disclaimer: I'm going to get a little angry here. I know. Surprise! Adam's going to have a rant because you guys know when it comes to gaming, my primary genre are RPGs. Growing up, it's what appealed to me the most. I played all kinds of games, but I truly love RPGs. And I am old man on the panel here, which means I had an NES. I played...
What's that?
Shut up. I played Dragon Quest when it was Dragon Warrior. So I go all the way back to the NES days. I played all those games. I played all 4 original Dragon Warrior games on the NES. Didn't beat them all, but gave it the college try on 2 of them. It took me years to beat Dragon Warrior 1, which is the easiest one when you think about it. Dragon Warrior 2, I got all the way to the end, but I didn't understand the concept of leveling really that well. And the final boss, when he transformed to his second form, wiped the floor with me, and it broke my little boy heart, and I just couldn't go back and do it. Dragon Quest 3, I came to that one way, way later because I kind of out of Dragon Quest for a little bit, but I came back to it, got about halfway through. Didn't finish it. Dragon Quest IV beat the ever-loving snot out of that game. That's my favorite one. That was my favorite. I just love Dragon Quest IV. But I played all the old school ones. I played a majority of the new school ones, new era ones, where Square bought it, called it Dragon Quest, said none of this Dragon Warrior bullshit. We're now Square-Enix. We're gonna mine this for all it's worth. Play the mainline games, not the side game, mainline games. So I'm there. Now we live in the current day. Square-Enix, for the past several years, they had some problems. We've documented those problems on this show. They got caught up in the DEI nonsense, not necessarily embracing it, but taking the money because, as we've shown, the Japanese thought it was just another source of revenue to make the games. They didn't understand it came attached to all the social warrior, social SJW bullshit, and during it created the ethics board. Remember the ethics board? That was 2 years ago. 2 years ago. Remember that. That was bullshit. We called them out for it. And last year, the ethics board was dissolved. Went away. Doesn't exist anymore. People still may be working at the company, but they don't have influence. They can't alter a game. Now, while it was functioning, a lot of games were in production. A lot of them have come out and since failed and have since been cut loose from the company. We're looking at you, Forspoken, and your development team, your company that got ruined because of it. Square Enix sold it off so bad. Other things related to that. During this period of time, I mentioned it. This is also for Mel Mondays, where we talk about video games more and just nerd out all that shit. I am very excited for Dragon Quest III 2D HD remake because I'm excited to play this, and it looks great, sounds great, old school goodness. But an article came out, 3 days ago. Started on Niche Gamer. Niche Gamer, we like Niche Gamer. They just give you the information. All they do is give the information. DQ3 HD 2D remake confusingly removes gender from protagonists and subclasses. Long story short, in the original, you can choose to be male and female, even though canonically Erdrick is male, the progenitor of the hero line in Dragon Quest 1 and 2. You could choose it, and then there was gender references in the subclasses. Apparently now, it has come out that in the HD 2D remake, it's body type A, body type B bullshit. They're doing that, and they're taking it all the way down to the subclasses. They're not really making it male or female, this or that. You know what? It's bullshit. Shouldn't happen. Does it break the game? No, because we've had other games where they do that. We call them out, but it doesn't break the game. It's wrong. But remember, this game is coming out in 5 months. I'm sorry, 4 months. Coming out, I believe, November. Dropping in November. That means, Dre, now that's why I'm glad you're here today. As a man who's been in the game development room, if a game is coming out in 4 to 5 months, how long was it in production for?
Whoo! So if a game is being released in the 4 to 5 months, it had to start planning at least 3.5 to 4 years ago. That's usually the standard of planning. Then the original script will be written within that first year. Then art and rendering starts maybe 6 months after that, and then we start going into alpha. So when the first loose term playable game would be 2 years out before we get to this point.
Okay. You said exactly what I hoped you would say. As someone who's been there, I only know from general understanding, but as someone who's been there and understands it. So this game was being made 2 to 3 years ago at the height of the DEI infestation.
Absolutely.
In the gaming industry. So it is no surprise that this is here. No surprise. Because it's baked in at this point. And Niche Gamer just points out that it exists. Doesn't give an opinion. Doesn't give anything. Just telling us like it is. So I have no problem with Niche Gamer's coverage of this. But then we got to go over to Park Place and Bounding at the Comics. Basically the same people. Same people running on this shit. They're making it all about woke. They're going to make it all about woke and how, oh my God, it's happening again. This and that. We should be they're not saying boycotting, but others are running with this information and saying boycott the game. I'm not going to play it. This was 2 years ago. They can't just pull this out in the last minute with 4 months to go. It's baked into the cake. This is what it's going to taste like. And it's like, my problem here is this. And I use Park Place all the time. I respect them. They give great coverage. Bounding into Comics, same thing. They give me a lot of information. We've used them in previous segments today. I do not appreciate where they give a heavy-handed, over-the-top breakdown of the game and then spend more than half the article talking about an ethics department, as I said 3 minutes ago, that doesn't even exist anymore.
Yeah.
At Square Enix. This is, I don't want to say grifting, but it is not a good take. It is not disseminating the information properly. And then there are those out there, other YouTube channels, other people who go on X, Twitter, who will take this and run with this as the headline. Square Enix goes woke. Square Enix, are they partnering with more Sweet Baby Inc.? Is the Sweet Baby Inc. infest Square Enix? First of all, Sweet Baby Inc. had nothing to do with this. This is made in Japan. And Sweet Baby Inc. never got over to Japan. They only got over here in America. Yes, were they involved with Forspoken? But that was American. That was Square Enix America or their subsidiaries here in America. It was not the mothership. This is not DEI infestation. This is simply they took the money with the requirements of putting that in there. That's what this is. And the Japanese just went, okay, fine. You don't see that shit in any of the current stuff. And then over here on Bounding and Comics, they'll run with the fact that, oh, look, they censored Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. It's here comes the woke. They already did it. They're censoring it again. It was done 2-3 years ago. Same with the Final Fantasy VII Rebirth stuff. It was done 2-3 years ago. They were stupid when they did the change in remake to match, line up with it. That was retarded, but it was baked in.
Yeah.
And to claim that it's woke, it's done, they're replacing this stuff now to try and clutch your pearls, to quote Eric July, to clutch your pearls and go, oh, Lord and Lordy. Lord and Lordy, they done ruined another game with the gender, the male, the female. No, it's not right to have this perception. It's not right to have this take. It is misinformation as opposed to niche gamer who just gave you the facts.
Yeah.
Am I off base here? That's what I want to ask guys. Am I being overreacting to this?
No, I don't think you're overreacting at all, but I'm glad that you're coming to having your come to Jesus moment, as it were. When it comes to this, especially when it comes to development. Now, are there quick patches that are done to remove certain things? 110%. Absolutely. That has been a thing for many years. Here's the issue. If the only way that works, and let's just say for the sake of argument, Dragon Quest 3, when was the original release date of that? What was that, the 90s, 2000s? First Dragon Quest 3. Remember?
Original Dragon Quest 3, I think it was 88.
88? Okay.
Because it was one of the last games that came out on the NES.
Okay, cool.
Like 87, 88, because Dragon Quest 4 came out like a year later, because then the SNES came out. So it was done.
Perfect. That's perfect. So from that game, this is no longer, the game is so old, this is no longer a port. This is not a port anymore.
No, they've already remade this a couple of times.
This is a complete and utter, this might as well have been a new game. So since it was essentially by measurable metrics a new game, this has been baked in since its conception. Now, here's the kicker. Let's just say, for the sake of simplicity, that they actually had gendered stuff in it up to this point. All right, let's just say that was. And now over the last year, because that's usually the last point when you have to start making those changes, in the last year, whoever put some flavor in somebody's ear and say, hey, we don't want to have gender. Everybody has to be a genderless blob. The chances of that happening and then making it to beta and then release candidate is slim to none. This had to be in the works for multiple years.
Yeah.
Because once you remove gendered language, you have to recode the entire game. That's another $50 to $100 million being sunk into this joint. No company wants to do that.
And Square's not doing that because they have just lost a lot of money.
Absolutely.
They've lost billions, right?
Absolutely.
They've lost hundreds of millions and billions again. So
Absolutely.
they are, what's done is done. It's coming out. Now I'm gonna buy
Perfect.
this game. I'm gonna buy it. Now it shouldn't
Perfect.
be $50. This should not be a $60 game, but it is.
Oh, Adam, let's not be foolish.
It shouldn't be.
They're going to try to get up in them pockets as much as they can.
Yeah.
You think they ain't gonna put a $50 to $60 tag on this?
Yeah, they did.
Oh, they're coming for that wallet. Let's not.
They did. I have it. I have it wish listed on my PS5. I've got it saved. It's $60 game. It's a $60 game.
I rest my case. I mean, but this is gonna this is coming. So like the idea of the manufacturer, and this is where I'll critique the other two articles.
Yeah.
The manufactured outrage is not necessary.
Thank you.
At this point.
That's what gets me the most.
Yeah.
I criticize Square Enix for doing this in the first place, but it was
Absolutely.
during when all this shit was happening. And I don't necessarily forgive it, but I understand it. And you pointed out they're not going to dump the money in to do it last minute right now. But what my problem is the fake outrage.
Yes.
That's the problem. And the people who will then make videos on it to just try and put something out there. I have a problem with that, especially if sometimes they will admit they never played the original games or they never played any of the games.
And I think that's the most important part of this, because these people like Bounding and comments who are exaggerating in this specific case, I fully believe they've never played any of these games, because when it comes to franchises that they like, they believe this stuff is minimal. Like Helldivers 2, like anything from Software. They've been doing this body type A and B stuff for a very, very long time. I played Dark Souls 3. That gave me body type A and B. So when it's their franchises, they're like, yeah, it's annoying, but it's okay. But when it's a franchise, they don't care about it. That's the only way that they can, talk about this news, is manufacturing something. So yes, is it annoying? Absolutely. Yeah. I would roll my eyes if I came to this part, but it seems like it's a pretty minor part of the game, just like it is in Helldivers and From Software games. I'm not a real fan of From Software games, but your character is virtually non-existent. Your character is purely aesthetic. So having a body type A or B doesn't influence or impact the story whatsoever.
You're covered in armor.
Yeah, you're covered in armor. So yeah, it might be annoying, but it's not all that impacting. It might be suggestive of other things. Like if they were trying to make the argument, hey, this is concerning because hypothetically this could mean that they've changed some of the storylines to include other modern stuff. If they were going from that point where it's like, hey, we can be skeptical at this point because of that news, I feel like that would still be a legitimate thing to have discourse about. But just going full on this and nothing else makes it a woke disaster is exaggeration at the best. Being as generous as I can. That's exaggeration.
So, absolutely.
And that's a problem. This is a problem in our sphere. And I'm now going to do a commentary on our sphere. Sometimes those who are the source material and people who then will make videos on it, they take this stuff and just run with it. And they don't understand that you can't just say this shit for the sake of getting a video out there. Because then it diminishes it. I am a firm believer. Talk about the shit you know. Stick to the stuff you know. I mean, I rarely deviate from the things that you guys hear me talk about because, one, I like to be right, so I'm going to talk about the things I understand. But two, unless it's something that's completely breaking out there, that and I would be a fool, and I would be what's the word I want? It would be improper for me not to talk about it. If it shit, I almost had it. Fuck word, damn it. Negligent. It'd be negligent of me to not talk about a major story that touches on everything that we cover.
Oh no, I agree.
Yeah, I lost my train of thought there completely trying to find the word. I'm sorry. That pause is the hamster fell off the wheel and can't get back on. But you understand what I'm saying? I wish some people wouldn't just make stories and articles just to get the clicks. I'm not going to say it's a grift. I'm not going to say that, but just to get out content and feed the beast.
That's it makes it feel disingenuous. These people,
exactly.
That's why, like you said, they feel an obligation to because it's in the news. But if you don't know anything about it, you're doing a disservice to your audience.
I mean, look at this. Niche Gamer has all of 5, 6 mini sentence paragraphs and gets the gist across just fine, as opposed to this freaking wall of text on Park Place talking about shit that isn't even relevant anymore.
I agree.
I mean, and then wrapping it up with the person recently asking about Square Enix and DEI and Sweet Baby Inc., which they dodged the question. Shame on them. But it's content for the sake of content isn't good, and that is a problem in our sphere.
Yeah.
It's a problem, and I will say that I have done my best to not do it. I've tried to stay out of it the best I can, but sometimes, as I just said, sometimes you're negligent if you don't cover certain stories. So I will cover it, but I will do like the minimum. I will try not to weigh in on it as though I have some sort of great knowledge. I mean, perfect example. Whenever I cover Lord of the Rings stuff, I make it very clear I'm a casual fan. I do not have that.
As long as you're honest and upfront about it, so it doesn't come across as misleading. Like just like what we do with our reviews in Saturday Night Drive, and when you're doing the subjective review, you let people know it's subjective. As long as you're honest with your audience, it's fine. But I mean, we've talked about this privately, is when people suddenly talk about Doctor Who for the first time in their lives because of the Shudigatwa situation, it comes across as cringe because they have no idea about this franchise whatsoever to talk about it. But it's trending, so we have to talk about it.
And just like a perfect example, I didn't do anything on Helldivers 2. I did 2 videos, and only because it became video game related and Sony, which I can talk about Sony as a Sony guy, but other Helldivers stuff, I didn't get in on it. Pick any other major topic. MCU stuff. I rarely talk about MCU stuff, do I? Now, because I'm not watching it. And if I'm not watching it, I won't talk about it. We'll bring it up here on this show when we're talking about numbers and ratings and lack of interest and stupid shit said. But as far as talking about the show, I will not talk about it if I haven't watched it. I won't make a dedicated video because what do I have to tell you? It's going to be a nothing take. Empty, soulless, no heart.
So speculation at best.
Yeah. So it, like Jet said, be upfront with how you're approaching it, and then if you're going to criticize, like perfect example, my criticisms when I'm criticizing House of the Dragon right now, I'm talking about it from a complete normie perspective, and I'm talking about tangible things, production, acting, behavior, this and that. I'm separating it from the lore, which I don't know, which in this case is kind of moot, considering Jerem has said the show is the definitive version. So you don't necessarily need to know what goes on in the book because the show is telling you.
Yeah, the book is irrelevant at this point because, it's multiple perspectives that are all decanonized. So the book is worthless.
I can give you my take, but I couch everything I say as I don't know this, don't know that, and I don't know what's coming. So take my point of view as somebody who is just trying to find entertainment here. So I think I've gotten my point across. I wish that this kind of behavior didn't happen. I wish Square Enix didn't have a DEI stink on them for some stuff. But these next few projects that they're going to be releasing will still have it. The only one that's free of it is Final Fantasy 14 because that's a complete separate entity within the company. And Yoshi P is a based MFer that doesn't play this shit. And the game shows it. There are jiggly boobs all over that. You could see a bunny girl. Bunny girls are big and Amazon-like with titties, and bunny dudes are like short and skinny. I mean,
But it is an unfortunate reality that people often forget is it takes a long time to write a ship when it's just on the corporate level, let alone on a creative level with a product that, like Dre said, takes around 3 to 4 years just to make. And so Square Enix, like you said, has cleaned house at least a little bit more than we'd expect from a lot of other companies these days. And we're not going to see the result of that for another 2 or 3 years, probably. And that's an unfortunate reality that we have to be aware of. But we can still criticize the problems that arise in these individual games, but be aware that maybe it'll change.
Yeah. To use Square Enix as an example, again, their next 2 releases are remakes: Dragon Quest 3. 2D HD 2D, and then Dragon Quest 1 and 2, a bundle pack, 2D HD 2D. That's their next releases in the next 8 months. There's no other major release of mainline stuff. There's no announcement of Dragon Quest 12 yet. That's been cooking for a number of years. Their next mainline Final Fantasy project, there's no word on a 17. They're putting all their stuff into FF7 Remake Part 3, which I'm calling it I think I'm calling it I forget what I called it. I had a good idea for it. Anyway. They're putting all their time into that, and then there's Final Fantasy 14, which has seen success with Dawn Trail. Dawn Trail's been a great success right now. Everybody's loving it. I'm loving it. Having a great time. And it's seen the biggest return of player base in a long time. So that's still working. But other than that, they got nothing else. Nothing on the schedule. They have literally scaled everything back. It's either Final Fantasy or Dragon Quest or Legend. There's a Legend of Mana game coming out in a couple months. But that has already been. We already have no fear of that because the director of that said, "Screw you, Wokies. I made this shit for Japan. You can go kiss my ass." He essentially said that. So I'm not worried about that game. That's on my Christmas list. So I'm not worried about that game. I'm looking forward to that. I love a good mana game when they work. Sometimes they don't work, but I love a good mana game. All right. So if anybody of any consequence listen to this, I'm not calling anybody out. I'm simply saying, don't play this game, please. It doesn't help our arguments when you play these games. It just doesn't, in my opinion. So. All right.
Well, and I do want to say, address what Frank said in the chat. So Square-Enix might not be the best reference to that, but just because we believe a company might be turning their ship around, might have good products down the road, absolutely doesn't mean that you should put money into something that is currently being released under that banner of DEI stuff from years back. Like, that's absolutely not what we're saying either. Forspoken was still a disaster, whether or not it came out technically after the changes at Square Enix. So no, you absolutely shouldn't give them money until they give you a good product.
Yeah, and that's why, unfortunately, for a lot of things, I'm the person that's going to be testing these waters for you. I'm the one that will put the money down and show
that
you.
Is part of what we
offer
offer the chat is wading into these franchises to let you know things so that you can have a informed decision on whether or not you want to go into it. That's something that I like to talk about a lot. Is I watch Rings of Power and whatnot, so people can decide whether or not to watch Rings of Power, wade into it if it's at least humorous enough to watch in the cringe ways. So don't feel obligated to spend your money just because you think the company might be turning around. It's still an individual choice on a good product. If you think it's a good product,
it's my choice because their current language of we know we done effed up. That's why I'm willing to still support Square Enix. And also then there's the other half of it. I will test the waters. I will say it. I will get Dragon Quest 3 HD 2D. I'm not going to get it right away. I don't want to pay $60 for it. I want to get a little price drop, but early next year, I'll get it and I'll stream it on the gaming channel. We'll stream it. We'll play it together. We'll have some fun. And because it looks beautiful, old school play style, good old fashioned menu based JRPG. So we'll see how it goes. So I'll do it. And we watch out for translators, but I think because there's such a hyper focus now on the localization translators, I don't think Square Enix is going to they're going to do this in house. I don't think they're going to send this to over here to be done. I don't think they're that stupid. I think they see the writing on the wall and all that because we went over this a month ago when they released they laid out their timeline of what they're going to do. They know they fucked up. They lost money. This is a Japanese company. You lose money, you got to fix it. Otherwise, you're done. Otherwise, it will be 1986 and they will be final. It will be a final game. They're not going to be able to turn Final Fantasy into a franchise when it was supposed to be their final game ever. So so they will I believe they will continue to be transparent, and I will be the one to help you decide on what you want to do. But I'm never going to tell anybody how to spend their money. Never tell anybody to trust. Don't trust my opinion. Just trust what I show you. Trust what I show you, and that's why I'm transparent in almost everything I do. I put it before you and let you see it and let you make your opinion. As does Dre, as does Jed, as do most people in the sphere. And that's why I get angry and frustrated when people put out inaccurate information just to get a video out on the day to get their views so that they can keep the algorithm happy. Sometimes I'll take the L some days. I got nothing to say. I'll take the hit. Because you guys will know, the chat, my subscribers, everybody's come in new to the channel for the past couple of weeks. You will know if I don't give a shit about something because my heart won't be in it. I'll be as quick as possible. So I'm not going to give you a stale product from me. I want you to know that I care about what I'm talking about. Therefore, if nothing aligns with how I run my channel, I'm not going to feed you just some run-of-the-mill video just to feed the beast. Simple. All right. I got nothing else. We're over 2 hours, so I feel good. I feel good ending this show. Dre, what you got going on this week?
So this week, that's a good question. Whatever's going down, whatever's happening in the news. Today's Sunday. My day. Oh my god, I need to sleep.
I was with you the other day. I had no idea what day it was for a minute.
Yeah. So tomorrow, whatever's popping off in either comic or video game news, I'll drop a video on my Brutal Playing Comics YouTube channel. And this Thursday, I got another Pokemon battle on my The Brute Plays gaming channel. We're getting a lot of versus requests, so I got plenty of content that's upcoming. So I'm happy about that. So definitely check that out on my secondary channel, The Brute Plays. And of course, on Friday, we'll see whatever's going on, whatever's popping off. To my knowledge, there's nothing comic related coming out this week. So I mean, outside the boys, but I'm not reviewing that anyways. Who cares?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's about it. It should be an easier week. Do all those great YouTube things, like, comment, subscribe, share, and follow me on Twitter at TheBrute00.
Okay, Jed. Besides driving, what's going on?
Well, you can all find me on YouTube and Kick at Hollywood Scholar. Not sure what I have planned for the week like Dre. Just kind of react to what's currently in, and then of course drive in with Adam, which you'll get to.
Yes, Dragon Lady. Anything going on this week?
And just the usual simming. That's about it, really.
Okay. As for me, rest of the night, I'm playing Final Fantasy 14 because it's my happy place right now. And I extend the invitation if you want to get into the game, if you're getting back in the game, you can join when he comes back to it. Dermy, a couple other people were on there. We're having a good time. I am available to help out. I just want to play Viper right now. I just want to destroy shit. I want to craft. I want to gather. I'm having a great time. I want to share that with others. That's the fun of these games, playing with other people. It's a lot of joy. So I'll be doing that. Private play, but we have a guild, so you can join us there. Tomorrow, Hot D Season 2, Episode 4. I'm promised that the action finally begins, so we'll see how that goes. Check out my review some point tomorrow afternoon, early evening. It's Monday, which means 10 p.m. Eastern. Mellow Mondays, where we sit back, nerd out, have a good time. I'll be joined by Samuel and Devil, who doors always open. You never know who might show up. Then Wednesday, Acolyte Day, Episode 7, penultimate episode. Are we ready? I never am, but I'm there anyway. Join me for that one some point in the afternoon for that as well. Throughout the week, I know I've been promising we'll get to the Dragon Age playthrough starting on the Renaissance Nerd Arcade Gaming channel. I just got to find the time to set everything up and block everything off. Doing 2 reviews in the week, it kind of sucks up all my energy for that stuff, and then I just want to go to my happy place in 14 and recover. So you got to understand that when maybe one of the reviews drops off, maybe we'll have room to get it started. It'll be a twice-a-week thing, maybe Tuesdays and Thursdays. We'll see how it goes. It'll be Dragon Age Origins. You guys voted. It's the definite winner on that one. So we'll be doing that on Renaissance Nerd Arcade. Friday, I'll be on Ball Busters, as always. It's a disaster, but it's a disaster that, unfortunately, I am chained to. Can't get away from it. And Jed, what are we watching on Drive-In this week?
Well, we are watching a film that Adam actually hasn't seen before, which is a very rare thing for Saturday Night Drive-In. It's a film that I consider one of the last great Steven Spielberg movies, at least the last good year for Steven Spielberg, because I found out he did this film and Catch Me If You Can the same year, which was surprising to me. But this will be 2002's Minority Report, starring Tom Cruise.
Okay, yeah, I have not seen it.
You never seen Minority Report, Adam?
Bits and pieces, and I wasn't a fan of the whole idea of it when it came out. So
it's good. And
I was in a transitionary period. I was writing my first book. I was deciding I was going to go to culinary school. I took a year off. It was a weird year, and now ended 2002 and 2003. So it was a weird year.
You're gonna love this, Dre. So I recently saw someone trying to argue that Minority Report was racist because the name wasn't actually referring to the precogs or anything. The precogs weren't real in Minority Report. It's called Minority Report because it was a report on the minorities who were predicted to commit crimes in the future.
Oh God.
Well, this is why these kids should not be able to watch anything. They shouldn't be allowed to watch anything.
I doubt that's going to be my take on it, but it should be an interesting take because
most of the bad guys are white in the movie.
Yeah, like all
catch
of them.
that one.
All of them.
Catch us then. It should be a good one. It'll probably be one of our very intellectual discussions, as those types of movies generally steer us towards. Let's see. Then we'll be back here next Sunday, 2 p.m. Eastern. The Acolyte will provide, and I'm sure the internet will also provide. We'll find something, but we'll be here because all of you support us. We are happy to have you here with us each and every week. I appreciate all of you, new people coming into the channel. We crossed 3,500 this week. Thanks to everybody joining in. I feel like we're on the threshold, guys. Keep hitting that like button. Keep watching the videos. Keep subscribing to all our channels. We can't do this without you. We thank each and every one of you. So we'll see you next time. Take it easy. Have a good night or day wherever you may be.